my name is Kat, and today I will be talking about critique partners. This vlog today is brought to you in 5 parts. The first part is how I met my critique partners. Back in 2009, I had a blog. Actually, I still have this blog, I just don't really post on it, but in 2009 I posted a lot, and I basically just chronicled my journey as an aspiring author as I wrote and edited my very first novel. During this time, I also followed a lot of blogs, both blogs from agents and blogs from other aspiring authors. I found some other aspiring authors who had very funny blogs and whose stories I liked the sound of, and I started following their blogs. I commented on their posts, and in return, some of them started reading my blog and commenting on my posts. So yeah, I met both of my critique partners through my blog and their blogs as we just chronicled our journeys as aspiring authors, and when the time came that they needed beta readers, critique partners, they approached me and I was all for it. I really lucked out big time in the critique partner department, and I feel very lucky to have the 2 critique partners that I do, and I hope they never leave me. Anyways, let's move on to part 2, the first manuscript exchange. I don't remember the exact details because it was quite a few years ago, but for the first manuscript exchange, we did not exchange the full manuscripts. We only traded like the first 30 pages or so, just to kind of get a feel for the story and also a feel for each other's critique style. At this point, we weren't critique partners, we were just blogging friends who were going to read a little bit of each other's manuscript and see what we thought. Because finding a good critique partner is more than just finding someone to read your stuff and give you feedback. You want to find someone who will do that, but who is also a very good match for you. Reading taste is so subjective, which again is why I'm very lucky to find 2 amazing critique partners who get my stories and get my writing style. But anyways, I critiqued the first 30 pages of their manuscript, they critiqued the first 30 pages of mine, and then we swapped back and discussed our feedback and our thoughts. When you are kind of trying out a new critique partner, I do recommend only sending like a little bit at a time at first. Send the first 30 or 50 pages or whatever and get a feel for their critique style and see if their critique helps you, because that's what you want. You don't want someone who's going to be like, oh my god, your story is amazing, please send me more, and not give you any critique. And at the same time, you don't want someone who's like, this story sucks, rewrite the entire thing. The primary goal of a critique is to get feedback that will improve your story. You want someone who gets your story and who understands what you're going for and who can give you feedback to help you make your story the best version of your story it can be. Which brings us to part 3, what to look for in a critique partner. There are a couple of key factors that I believe are really important in a critique partner. The first of those is communication. If you only want to talk to them a couple times a year when you trade manuscripts and that's it, then be upfront about that. Find someone else who also wants that. If you want to do like weekly chapter exchanges and communicate all the time, make sure that you clarify that in the beginning and that they also want that style of communication. The next thing you want to look for in a critique partner is knowledge. You want a knowledgeable critique partner, of course, but you also want someone who is on the same level as you. A partnership goes both ways. Yes, it would really be awesome if you were kind of a newer writer, but you got a really talented writer to critique your work for you, but that wouldn't make a very good partnership because the more experienced writer wouldn't be getting that much out of the partnership. However, while you should try to find a critique partner who is kind of at your level, you also want to try to find one who has different strengths and weaknesses than you do. If you're maybe not so great at writing dialogue or descriptions or whatever, try to find a critique partner who is really good at that and see how you can help each other. Another important quality in a critique partner is their personal taste. I personally believe that you should agree with most of the feedback your critique partner gives you. You want a critique partner to help improve the story you are trying to tell, not to try to get you to tell a different story. And finally, the most important quality of a critique partner, I think, is honesty. It is important that their personal taste matches the kind of book that you are writing and that they enjoy it overall, but they should have some feedback for improvement. Now we move on to part 4, how to find a critique partner. Since I found both of my critique partners through Blogger, I will recommend that first. If you are an aspiring author, start a blog. Chronicle your journey as an aspiring author. It was really helpful to me, not just because that's how I found my critique partners, but also it was nice to kind of have this journal of my adventures in publishing. And it's especially nice now that I can look back and see how much I've grown and learned and what a bad writer 2009 Cat was. So yeah, start a blog and don't just focus on your own blog. Reach out to other aspiring authors. YouTube is another good option that wasn't really super big back in 2009. The comment section of agent blogs are also another good place to meet other aspiring authors. You can also meet critique partners in real life via a creative writing class or something like that. There are also places online like critiquecircle.com in which you can put up your own work for critique and critique other people's works. And if you find someone whose critique style matches yours, you can reach out to them and maybe start some kind of manuscript exchange off of the site. So yeah, my suggestion for how to find a critique partner is just to reach out to other aspiring authors through whatever venue you are most comfortable with. And finally, part 5 of this vlog is how to deal with feedback. Every single time I send something to one of my critique partners, there's a little part of me that is like, this is the best manuscript ever. They are not going to have anything negative to say, like, it's perfect. What can they say? It's perfect. And every single time, of course, they have negative things to say. Both of my critique partners, at least as far as they tell me, really enjoy my writing and my stories, but of course there are things I can improve on. Feedback can be difficult to deal with, especially since by the time you've polished it and revised it yourself, you're pretty confident about that. My number one advice for dealing with feedback is after you receive the feedback, you are not allowed to reply to that feedback for at least a day. I mean, by all means, send off a quick little note saying, thank you so much for your feedback, I can't wait to get to it and work on it. But whatever you do, resist the urge to write a long email explaining or defending or arguing their feedback and your manuscript. Don't do it. Even if their feedback is negative, they aren't doing it to be mean, they are doing it to help you. So sit on the feedback, let it percolate in your brain for a little bit and ponder it. If they are suggesting changes that you really feel are wrong, you don't have to listen to them. It's your story. You can do whatever you want with the feedback. But in general, in a successful critique partner relationship, their feedback should be helping you immensely. And your feedback should also help them. Don't rush through a critique just to get your own critique back. Take time and try to help them improve. Don't just gush and love their story, and don't tear it apart. An equal mix of good and bad, but overall helpful is what you want to do. If there's something in the manuscript that isn't really working, let them know. And at the same time, if there's something that really is working, let them know. So yeah, those are my general thoughts on critique partners and how to find one, and that is everything I have for this vlog today. So thank you very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely night, and I will have another vlog up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!